Hey, Alyssa.
How are you? It's been so long since I saw your beautiful face.
Yeah, that's true. I'm very good. How are you?
Very good. Very good. I'm so happy to be here with you. Can you do an intro for those who don't know you, have never met you? Tell them what you do.
Okay. So, I am Nelly, and I'm one of the technical support engineers for the Telerik reporting team.
I think you were saying you had some cool things to show us today on stream. What tell us what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I posted a blog post which
Mm,
describes how to make a connection between the Kendo and your data grid and
mm,
Telerik reporting report. So I just wanted to explain some more stuff,
mhm.
demonstrate the project, and emphasize on some of the most important parts of the project.
We're so
And
excited.
I know that you're an Angular expert, so you're the best partner for this session.
No, I like I feel like I am a GDE, so they did give me that title, but I refuse to acknowledge the expert part of it. I feel like it should be like GDL, Google Developer Lover, right? I love Angular to death, but there are some I have a stream later on today where we're going into detail with version 14 of Angular and some of the other features like inject, and that stuff is like a little over my head cuz we are talking about getting rid of modules. And I don't know if you know that, but that's like a big change. And so I'm just like, all right, hang on for the ride. Don't scream. It's going to be fine. So that we'll see. Telerik reporting sounds daunting. Like anytime you would tell me about it, I'm like, oh, so I'm really excited to see how hard or not hard it is to do.
I think it's pretty easy to do it, so no
oh,
stress.
oh, we didn't do, I'm so sorry. We didn't do a pre. Let's see. Will the browser let you share your screen? Because if not, you'll have to do a restart and it'll be a whole hubbub. But do you know if you have the capabilities of screen share?
Let me try.
Because for some reason, every now and then it resets the permissions to screen share. Hey, I see it back there. Awesome. Okay, we'll go.
Okay, cool.
Here's the blog post. Oh, yay. That she was talking about. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, basically the blog post explains how to send data from the Kendo and your data grid to
Mm.
the Telerik report. So here are all of the required steps, and of course, in the end, we have the full demo project, which can be found in our GitHub repository with the sample projects.
Thanks.
I wanted to start with some introduction about Telerik reporting. Our reporting solution can help you creating reports very easily and in a very fast way. We provide a big variety ar- of already of components which you can easily drag and drop to your report and create the report very fast. Why do we need reporting on one side? Because we can keep track of some data. We can do some invoices, data representations, and so on. Maybe something more about our product. We provide three report designers. Two of them are desktop. We have the standalone designer, which I have it here. You can, as I mentioned, you can drag and drop some items to the report. We also have the Visual Studio Report Designer, and it's important to mention for all .NET Core lovers that soon we will release Visual Studio Report Designer for which will be targeting .NET Core. This will happen in
Oh.
R3 2022, so somewhere middle of September.
Can we talk for a second about what the heck .NET Core is? Because I'm like, okay, I know what like Maui is in .NET, and I've heard of ASP.NET Core. So when you say that you'll have the builder for Core, do you mean ASP.NET Core, or do you just mean anything that uses .NET
Yeah,
6 potentially?
yeah,
Maybe.
exactly. So basically, Currently, we have our Telerik reporting REST service,
Hmm.
which can run on .NET Framework and .NET Core. It could be like .NET Core 3.1, .NET 5, .NET 6. Basically, we are always striving to support the latest version of the framework.
Okay.
So currently, maybe I can
I
show
didn't know you
our.
knew all the things. Look at this. You know all the things.
Let me check. I can show you a demonstration of our Visual Studio Report Designer, which currently is targeting
Mm.
.NET Framework.
And good morning,
Okay.
Vic. It's lovely to see your face in the chat. Hi. Mwah. Welcome. Well, actually, I should ask, is it good morning or is it good evening for you? Where are you at?
Maybe not really evening, because
Afternoon? Afternoon for you now?
afternoon, I would say afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, who even knows when evening starts? I personally do not. I'm like, noon?
Okay, so I opened this project, which actually, if you install Telerik Reporting, you will find it in the installation folder of reporting. Let me open it. So yeah, if you install the product, you navigate to examples, C Sharp, and open this Visual Studio 2022 solution. And here we have our projects which are targeting the .NET framework. As you can see, we also have projects for .NET 5, 6, and Core 3.1. And here in the, let me see, in the report library, here we can see some demos with the Visual Studio Report Designer. As I mentioned, here we have the standalone designer. This is a WPF application which also targets
Mm.
the .NET framework. And here we have the same designer but in Visual Studio. And let me show you our third designer, which is the web report designer. Uh,
Hi,
you
Cyber
can
Axis. Saying hi to chat.
Here in our demos page, we have also a demo of the web report designer,
Mm.
which can be embedded into your web application. Again, this designer can be used in both .NET Framework and .NET Core applications. So currently, if you want to develop your reports directly into your web application, you can do
Mhm.
it with this control. And here we have the designer, which also has the report viewer. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So designers are like intimidating to me. And I think this is like because I was recently starting to get into .NET recently, still am.
Mhm.
And it was difficult for me because tried to do it without Visual Studio. And I was just like, I'm going to use VS Code and my command line on my Mac, and it's all going to be fine. And it was like a week and a half ago, I was doing a live demo for Maui. And there were like some harsh differences between what was happening with me, like free running it on command line versus like Visual Studio. And I was like, okay, so I have to stop fighting the tooling. So when I see a designer, it kind of reminds me of that world of like, it's just like heavy IDE. And so can you explain for me real quick, designer? Like just
Okay.
like it's is it like drag and drop? Bye, baby. He's heading off to school. Is it like drag and drop components to get your design right and then exporting? Is that all that
Yeah,
designer means, or is there a lot more to
exactly.
it than that?
Exactly. Maybe I can, let's say, I'll make a quick demo with the standalone designer.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So yeah, you go to File, New. Let's Okay, this would be fine. And here you see that we have different components. Let's say you can add a picture, you can
Okay.
add some text. If you want to display data from database, you can use the SQL data source. So we have a cube data source, JSON, CSV, and so on. So for example, maybe I can add this CSV.
Oh my god, you're so fancy. You're just like typing it out in line. Oh, I see. So, and then it's like basically building a grid
And
based on this.
now, firstly, we need to add the data source. And now, let's say I want to display this data into a table. So when I select the wizard, I pick our data source
Mhm.
and add the columns that I want to see in my table. And now I have here the table with the values inside. Once I'm done with designing the report,
Mhm.
I can print the report from here, and we also provide a big variety of export formats. So as you can see here, we can export to PDF, CSV, Excel, and so on. Okay, maybe we can export to PDF. And now let me find the document. Yeah, and here we have it in PDF.
Okay. Okay.
So, for example, let's say you have worked on your invoice and yeah, you needed it, like to share it with your colleagues. You can do
Mhm.
it like on PDF. Uh, you can print it, and this is yeah, this is the designer. Here the Visual Studio Designer is not much different. We have here some text. You can preview it. It takes some time until the project is built. But yeah, in general, it's the same. And here, actually, in our demos, we have also um, some project with the web report designer. Maybe I can show you this Blazor project. Okay.
Hi, welcome. If you've just now joined us, I saw our numbers go up from earlier. Hi, Soren. Preview from VS never works. I actually was just learning. So, Visual Studio was actually helping me run like the Maui emulator like a week and a half ago, and it was working. It was working better than running the command line. So, but maybe report building is different. But like, I don't know. I feel like I need to stop fighting Visual Studio. Was my lesson
Actually,
learned.
I have some news for all Visual Studio Code lovers. We are
Oh,
preparing some item templates which will help you to add some of our controls very easily and still use VS Code.
that is awesome. I know there's so
Yes,
many people that use VS Code. It's not just me.
I
I'm not the
understand.
I'm
Yeah,
not the only one.
you're not. So we have this report viewer control, which can help us displaying the report that we have worked on. And here I have the web report designer, which is our latest control. Here, let's say I want to create a new report. I'll just keep the file name the same. And here we have again the components, and we can drag and drop them to the report, add some stuff, and once we have finished with the changes, we can preview the final outcome. Again, from here, we can export the report to a different format. And yeah, that's pretty much for the report designers. As I mentioned, we have also the report viewers, which allow you to display a report into different applications. So, for example, you have, let's say, a Blazor app. You can use the Blazor report viewer to display your report into the Blazor app. Here, let's say we have ASP.NET MVC application. You can again display the report into this kind of application. We have WinForms, web forms. We also have WinUI, React, Angular, and so on. If you have installed Telerik reporting in the example folder, you can see examples of most of the technologies that we cover. For example,
Mm.
Angular, we have React, and so on.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's something you don't cover. Well, do you
REST,
do you have Vue? Is Vue? Did you list Vue as one of the things? Because I know sometimes we have people on the fence with Vue.
you mean like a list view with reports or?
No, the front end framework Vue that is
Oh,
like
view, you.
Angular
Yeah,
originally.
we also have a view example. Let
So
me
you do support. So there's not the answer. In fact, is no. There's nothing.
let me find
Right.
it.
Vue.js probably would have been the quicker way of explaining that to you. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Brain is not
So,
here.
and yeah, actually, we also have one blog post. Let me find it. It's called Embed Reporting Everywhere, where
Mm,
here we have covered most of, yeah, here you see again information about the report designers, and we tried to cover most of the technologies that we support. For example, .NET Core applications, Blazor, .NET Framework applications. We have,
mm.
yeah, the MVC, waveforms, Angular, and so on and so on.
Very cool. Welcome
Yeah.
if you're just now joining us. We're talking about Telerik reporting, and we're going to have a little bit of Angular action in a minute. But of course, I am Alyssa Nykel. This is Code It Live, and this is my amazing guest, Nelly. Am I pointing? I'm like, where are my hands? I don't. Okay, here they are. So, welcome if you're joining us. Tell us if it's a good morning or a good afternoon, evening for you. Let us know what time it is for you. But yes, I'm super excited to be learning more about Telerik reporting. I personally get intimidated with this kind of stuff. It's I don't know why. I feel like it's just like it's just far enough removed from the front end for me to be like, ooh, what that's hard. That sounds hard. So I'm excited to see how she's doing it, how she's putting all these things together. So it's been fun. Let us know if you have any questions in the chat. We're here to answer them.
Okay, maybe now we can continue to the most
Let's do
important
it.
part,
I'm
the
so
blog
excited.
post. um, our HTML5 based report viewers require a running instance of a Telerik report REST service. So basically, we need a backend to run the report. And here I picked one example project, again from the installation folder of Telerik reporting. Uh, the project is located in the C Sharp, and I picked the .NET 6 version. It's up to you, like you can use 5. If you prefer, you can also use a project that is targeting the .NET framework. It's like up to you.
Did you have a
So
.NET 7 in there? What?
yeah, you
Aren't
saw
we
it
on
correctly.
6? What's happening? Why is 7 in there? I'm confused. 7 is not out yet, right?
Yeah, but we are always like, even if it's in preview,
Oh,
we
okay.
try
Okay, I'm
supporting
with
it.
you. I was like, if I missed the boat on that one, you're gonna have to tell me. Okay, cool. We're still on 6. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so currently for this demo, we will use the 6.
6. Okay.
So here I picked, this is the REST service project, and here I added to the report folder this sample report. Here it uses JSON data source, so the data that will pass to the report will be in JSON format.
Okay.
And here the idea is that we have this list with some details, and we want to send the data from the grid to this list here. So firstly, we need to run the REST service project, which is here. I have already run this. And let me see. So once you run it, you have like this message to ensure that the REST service is running properly. You can navigate to two endpoints. One is API report format, which will
Mhm.
return the available report formats. If you see them, it means that the REST service works properly. The other one is version, which will return the version of Telerik reporting that we use in the project. This
Okay.
is pretty important because in our project it's very important to have all references and NuGet packages DLLs from the same version. So here is one way to check like if you're using the correct version into your project. And here I have opened the Angular project. Here I have the data grid.
It's so
Um,
funny. I've been like Tuesday, I was on learning C sharp basics, and I very much feel comfortable in Angular. So when you pull this up, it was like this like serotonin like washes over me. It's so funny how different like just being in a project that you know the syntax of, right? Like I'm like, oh yep, ng template, cool, we're fine. We're totally fine. This is fine, right? So it's just it's like I appreciate there's so many people who follow this channel, and no matter what we're talking about, what programming language, like they're there for it. They're there to help debug and like cheer people up and like cheer us on. And so I just want to thank the chat because it can be hard like to jump, and I don't know how you do it so often. Do you find it difficult to jump from it's just environment to environment and be fine with it, or are you numb to it now?
I think that I'm already used with that because
Mm.
Telerik reporting supports around 10 technologies. And day by day, people send me, like, let's say, React applications, Angular applications, Blazor applications, Vue applications, like all
And
kinds
you
of
and
applications.
you get to like debug them. Like that's your job.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh my
exactly.
god. Okay, I would love. Oh my gosh. I would love just to like be a little owl that like sits on your shoulder and like watches your whole day because it sounds fascinating. How fun would that be? Just like you never know what bug or project you're going to get, or maybe it's somebody's nightmare. I don't know. For me, I'm like that sounds so fun. That's really cool though. Sorry. Okay, continue with demo. I will stop distracting.
Okay. Yeah, so firstly here I have the Kendo grid.
Mm.
I don't know if you want to say something about it,
Oh
but
yeah. So I think we actually did. Let me show this real quick. Where is the share button? Share, share screen. We're gonna just do the whole screen, and everyone's gonna be like, ah, I see myself. It's fine. Grid on dev. So I always go to grid on develop branch because we have actually I wanted to ask you about this. Do you know does I think Sam said no, but do you know if they like the Telerik docs have a develop branch? Because I know that the Kendo ones do. Um, so like if you ever want to be like essentially seeing what's in beta, what hasn't shipped yet, you just add this little dash develop and then you're on the developed the docs like the but I was told that I don't think the Telerik side for .NET things has that, so I didn't know if you knew if that's a
I
thing.
don't know honestly.
Okay, no worries. I think that's special to Kendo the Kendo side of life, and I'm fine with it because I feel very special with it. But the we did actually an interview with some of our DevRels because it was so fascinating when you talk about like the data grid. Like the word grid means a lot of different things to depending on who you're talking to. And for me and my friend who she's like a React developer, whenever we heard the word grid the first time, we assumed they were talking about the CSS grid. Like let me show you what it is. CSS grid on CSS tricks. This is what I live by, a complete guide to the grid. But apparently, it's similar to like Flexbox. There's also the CSS grid, which allows you to align things in rows and columns, and it's really really cool. It's very extremely powerful. And so every time I hear the grid, this is what my brain pops to. And be like learning .NET, I feel like anytime they hear grid, at least some of the .NET developers that I've had the pleasure of talking to about this subject, their brain immediately like pops to this type of grid, which is this one is of course the Kendo UI Angular data grid, but we have it for all the flavors, just like all the ones that Nelly was listing out. We have it for Angular and React and Vue, and then on all of the .NET things as well. But for me, it was took some adjustment because I was like, oh, they're talking about a table, like a fancy table, mind you, because it has things like pagination and even like tab sorting, filtering. It has all these fancy add-ins, even things like I had someone come up to me at VS Live Austin, and they were like, okay, so I loved your demo. It was in .NET Maui, and I was showing the data grid, and I was showing how you could, plug in data and how you can add in features. And it was like a super fast one, so I didn't have a ton of time. And they came up afterwards and they're like, I really wish you'd had time to show the export functionality. And I was like, wow, that's some intense excitement for an export feature. Like he was really excited. And I was like, okay, I will make sure the next demo I do, we show how to export, whether it's to like Excel or to PDF or something. And so this does save a ton of time, and this can be a massive headache to like build from scratch for yourself. But I'm really excited to see. Sorry, I'm gonna add your screen back so that we're not screen and screen and screen. Really excited to see what you do with the in. Oh my gosh, I love. Okay, can we like go back to that real quick? Super pause. I'm feeling really ADHD this morning, so I apologize for all the side chats that we're doing. But I love that you use DevReach. I'm currently like helping to organize it, and I'm just excited about it. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for showing this beautifulness. It makes me want to pet the screen. It's just so pretty. Okay, so tell us about how these two worlds meet, how the data grid
Yeah.
and Telerik reporting meet.
So yeah, currently here on the left, we have the Kendo Angular data grid, which shows some data from this speakers TS file. So here we have our data.
Did you make this 6 speakers file? I'm like, where is what did you are you just writing up your own what like who has the okay, this is do you have a mystical place because you work with so many different projects in so many
Yeah.
different languages and you make so many different demos to like demonstrate something for somebody. Do you have like just this really cool backlog of data? So anytime you're like, "Oh, I need to populate this page," you're like is that something that you have just like secret files already created?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have them because
I
often I
knew
need some
it.
sample data.
I love that though because I mean, why would you rewrite this every time? That just yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so here, yeah, I have the data grid, and
Okay.
here we have some filtering options.
Mhm.
So, for example, let's say I want to filter John, and it returns only this record. But the main idea, I haven't implemented this yet, but the idea is that here I have the same data, but it's present in the report. So the idea is that when I filter the grid, I also want to filter the items in the report.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh
so
gosh. Oh gosh, that sounds you're not
don't
scared?
stress.
You don't seem scared.
No, I'm not scared. I was, but not
I will.
anymore.
I love you.
So here in the blog post,
Mhm,
I
mhm.
have put this special function which will allow us to set the data of the report when we
Mm,
have a change of the filter somewhere here in the
on the grid.
data grid.
Mm.
So let's copy this and paste it. Let me find
So I
where.
guess like the report itself has these like endpoints that you can call on event changes, right? Is
Um,
that what's happening or
so the
no?
idea is that here we have this function which will filter the grid's data
Mhm.
when some of the filters has changed. Uh, Wait,
I
give me back.
remember at one point they were like, "Yeah, we added this endpoint in the API for the data grid so that now whenever um, things are changing, whether it's filter change or whether there's
Mhm.
other events that you can essentially hijack and do your own thing. And I was like, oh, because we have so much other things we need to do. And apparently there's like a million people who are like, yes, I need to do things to the data mid filtering. So I love that you're using this example, but then you're also calling RRS report, this .telerik report viewer,
So yeah,
report
here
source. Hmm.
I have added this function. So we want to set the viewer's data once there was a filter in the once there was a change in the filter.
Hmm.
So the report viewer, the Angular report viewer has, let me find it, this set report source function. So yeah, we use it. It's this one.
Oh, I see.
So, for example, you want to change some of the values of the report parameters that are used in the report, or maybe you want to use another report into your report viewer. You just use this set report source.
Okay.
And here we also want to call the function when there was a change. So here we will also call this function when there is a change in
On the
the
filter.
filter. Yeah.
Okay.
And now we re-rendered, and let's go back to our
So I
master
assume this should
page.
work in both directions. Like when you filter it down and you just say John, it should work in that direction. But then when you clear the filter, I assume the method is called again.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just test it. I will filter John.
I'm not scared. You're scared. Oh my
And
gosh.
here we have only John. And now if I clear the
Clear
filter,
it. It
then
reloads
we
that.
will have all of them.
All of
I
them.
also have
Oh, okay.
Alyssa
Okay.
here.
I love
um,
that. Imposter.
and see, you're on the first place
Oh,
because
you're
you're
so
most important.
falsities. Oh no, one
uh,
of our web team was actually talking to me yesterday and she was like, I have you on 6 different talks for DevReach. And I said, that's false. That is false. Nope, nope, not me. And she was like, oh, so you're not getting on stage 6 different times. I said, no, that's not happening. Please fix the website. So it was actually funny because it was how the data exported from Sessionize. It overwrote like certain people's names with my name, and I was like, lovely, lovely. So so this actually is it's can be fun. Data manipulation can be a
oh
ton
yeah.
of fun. So this report, can you show me in the Angular app where it is
Yes.
included in like the template? Is it
Currently, we don't have a template. Like you
so
need
it's just
to.
in like the TypeScript file? You're like,
It's here, but as I mentioned, we are planning to add such a template so you can very easily add the Angular report viewer. So here we have the HTML, like
I
yeah,
see.
we
So the viewer,
here
and
is
then you're
the initial.
plugging in report source. Okay. That's where you're plugging in data.
Yeah,
Okay.
here you can add some styles if you need, and here we have the TS file of the
So
viewer.
that HTML file is exactly what I expected. It's like it's got
Mhm.
the component and then it's plugging in the data and it's got some extra attributes on there like to set settings and things, but like what more were you hoping for? Cuz this is what I was expecting to see, but you're saying they're working on additional templating bits?
Yeah, because currently, if you want to add your Angular viewer, you need to follow. Let me show it to you. So here is the documentation for the Angular report viewer. But yeah, currently to add it, you need to add it manually. Like firstly, you have to
Mm,
add jQuery, also the package for the Telerik Angular report viewer, and yeah, basically, still it's pretty easy to be done because you have. Yeah, like we have this example
yeah.
here, and you can directly copy paste and adjust some parts, like let's say here you have to put your report name or set some parameters if it's necessary. So yeah, like still you can do it pretty fast, but we want to make it even faster.
I see. No, I see what you're saying. So, the next step you think is making it so there's like CLI commands so that you can just ng add like the Telerik
Yeah,
report. Do you think that's
yeah.
like in the future? Okay. I am so excited to see you do some of your magic. I mean, I cannot believe at any point in time. I don't know if I know any other developers in my life that are like, yep, at any point in time, I can be given something from 10 plus different languages, ecosystems, and I just have to figure it out. Like, that's intense, and your brain be beautiful. Oh, this was really cool. So we talked about today, and hi, Broco. Yes, he was talking about DevReach and excited to be there. Um, we talked about Telerik reporting and the multiple different platforms that it is supported on. And then we just got to see it in action in an Angular app with the data grid and some interaction between those with filtering and firing of events and filtering on both sides. So that was really, really cool. But I think, did I recap everything? Did I miss anything? Did we talk about anything else? Of course, we had other side random topics that I distracted us with. So, mm,
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
it's awesome. It's, it's 10 a.m. my time. What about you? What time is it for you, darling? Is it dinner
It's
time?
no, it's like 15 minutes after 6, so I'm not hungry yet.
You're you're one of those late eaters. My parents are like, it's 4 o'clock. It's time for dinner, and I'm like, oh, please just wait for 5. And you're over here like, it's after 6, but I'm not hungry yet. I love it. It's funny. Well, this was really cool. I appreciate you so much taking time to show us all the cool Telerik reporting stuff, and also share with us your amazing brain that can handle. I'm serious about the owl thing. If there's any way I could ever just spy on your day, I want to do it because it sounds so fun. Just to debug, like, what do you ever do that? You ever like, what bug's coming next? I don't know.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Well, cool. Nelly, do you have any additional sign offs or tidbits?
No, I just want to wish you having a very great and positive day.
Thank you so much. I wish you the same. I hope your evening is very relaxing. And I appreciate you and all the time you took for us to do this. This was fun.
Thank you. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you the next time. So, yes.
Bye.